So, what are the implications of this move if it indeed has happened? We have with us Dr. Rajan Kumar of the School of International Studies at the Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi to talk about it with us. Good evening to you, Dr. Kumar. What do you make first up about this kind of intelligence that the South Koreans have gathered, that there are indeed not just North Korean troops but special forces that have been now stationed in the Russian Far East for a possible deployment in the war effort against Ukraine?
And Gautam, thank you for having me here. And this shows a kind of clear escalation in the war which is happening in between Russia and Ukraine, because this is the first time that the North Korean troops would be fighting outside the country. This has not happened in the last 70 years or so. First is that Russia has been fighting alone until now. There were some reports of some mercenaries coming from some Central Asia, but they were not the kind of troops of any other country. Yes, some mercenaries, some people were employed from say Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, etc. earlier, but this state troop, as you said very correctly, the special forces were never used by Russia from other countries. So in my view, this complicates the situation in all the in the entire between Russia and Ukraine. It worries the West because there are a few issues not only related to Russia and Ukraine, but also, as you know, North Korea is treated as a state which is a rogue state, as a state which has been trying to develop nuclear weapons, as a state has been in tussle with United States directly, and it also threatens the neighboring countries like Japan and South Korea. So whatever is happening has an impact not only on Russia and Ukraine. In fact, it will the 12,000 forces which are going to Ukraine. Going to Russia, and it might go to the front line also. Nobody knows. Although speculations are that these forces will be used in the Kursk region where Ukrainian forces have captured some of the territory of Russia. So probably that's the speculation at the moment. But yes, this will complicate the situation in Russia, in the Far East, where North Korea, Japan, and South Korea are located, and also the tension between North Korea and the West. Because also remember that one of the policies of the West has been to kind of contain North Korea so that it does not become a threat for Japan and South Korea. But what does this show? It shows that there is a very close military agreement now, which has taken secretly between Russia and North Korea. The Russia and Soviet Union and North Korea in the historical period, they had a very close cooperation. They shared the ideology and they shared the defense they had certain logistic agreements, etc. But in the last 30 years, when Russia became independent after 1991, this kind of cooperation was not there. But in just a few months back,
Professor
Russia,
Rajan, Dr. Rajan, I mean, the French defense minister also said that it was known that North Korea was helping Russia in this effort against Ukraine for some time with materials, etc. But putting troops on the ground has totally different implications. Why would Kim Jong be doing this?
Kim Jong would be doing it for two, three reasons, Gautam. The first is that this kind of provides a security to North Korea itself. As you know, that North Korea has been under constant, has been under threat. The Western countries, especially the United States, has been threatening North Korea. So first, this cooperation would be used by North Korea to kind of elicit some kind of support from Russia for modernizing its military. And North Korean military equipments are very archaic in the sense they are mostly the Soviet weapons and all. So in the modernization process of the weapons and arms, etc., Russia can provide some technological help. So that's number one. Now the second part, because this is some kind of mutual defense agreement which has taken place between Russia and North Korea. So if North Korea is sending troops to Russia, also remember that they have signed what is being called an aggression pact. So if North Korea is invaded, say tomorrow by United States, or say for instance, Japan or South Korea together, so in that case, North Korea will expect some kind of support from Russia, whether that would be just defense support, supplying weapons, etc., or Russia might also supply some troops. So, that is the worrisome part for not only United States, but for the entire world. Because now there is an agreement, and now the West will not be in a position to pressurize North Korea. And nuclear proliferation is a real possibility now. We already know that probably North Korea has already developed the nuclear capability, but now with Russian support, it's very likely that it might go further. It might develop its ballistic missiles, which can carry the nuclear weapons, etc.
So
So
this is potentially dangerous in so many ways, and this is intelligence that has been brought forth by the South Koreans, who are they're partners, defense partners with the US as well. And why is the US and other Western countries, they're only expressing concern about it? They in fact seem a bit circumspect as well. Why do you think that is the case? Why don't they want to say that we will put a stop to this? North Korea can't do this. We've already put a lot of sanctions against it, and we'll do more to stop this from happening.
I think, but the Western countries also have limitations in the sense that they will express concerns. They also put sanctions, but sanctions are not working in most of the places, as you know. It's not working in Russia. North Korea has been under sanction for the last several decades, but it has not impacted the development of nuclear program in North Korea. Yes, it has impacted the people, it has impacted the economy, but it has not impacted either the regime. It has not
In
impacted
fact, even today, North Korea's foreign minister said the new multilateral sanctions monitoring team led by the US, which has been brought together by the West, because the official sanctions team that was in place earlier was vetoed. They objected to this new team and called it utterly unlawful and illegitimate.
Absolutely, the Western countries, they'll try to put some more sanctions on North Korea, but the real issue is that whether we can stop North Korea from, threatening Japan, South Korea, whether we can stop North Korea from developing nuclear weapons. I think the West is not in position because the West is not willing to, directly attack North Korea at this moment because the world is divided. North Korea is supported by Russia, as you know, and in future, it's very likely that some kind of cooperation agreement will emerge between North Korea, Russia, maybe China, and certainly Iran. So in that kind of circumstances, it would be very difficult for the West to put pressure on North Korea. So what we're witnessing is a kind of new bloc which is emerging and which is countering the West. And the Western countries are not willing to send forces on the ground, and that's the reason why they cannot change the fate in Ukraine. Ukraine is losing. Yesterday also, Ukrainian army left one village, and Russia has captured. And ultimately, it's very difficult for Ukraine to push Russian army back to Russia.
Okay. Now, Professor, should this be of concern to India as well? Because just a few days from now, Prime Minister Modi is going to be in Kazan for the next BRICS summit, which is being hosted by Russian President Vladimir Putin, and President Xi will also be there. So, do you think this could be something that could come up there?
I think, in the BRICS meeting in Kazan, I do not think that this issue will be discussed, and especially because Russia is the host, and normally the leaders of the other countries are careful about condemning or criticizing the country which is hosting. So I don't think there'll be.
But Ukraine could be brought up.
Certainly, Ukraine would be certainly be discussed, and
this would be in the context of Ukraine then.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll issue any statement vis-a-vis North Korea because we treat that as a bilateral kind of agreement which has taken place between Russia and North Korea. But it is a concern of India because India's neighbor would be threatened now. Japan would be under threat because of this kind of cooperation which is happening between the two of neighbors of Japan. South Korea, which is again a very economically close partner of India, so that would be under threat, and the bloc politics will become very intensified. So in that way, this will certainly impact, because we have been a member of Quad, and Quad will also be impacted because of such kind of development. So yes, it is a concern for India, but I think in the BRICS meeting at Kazan, this issue will not figure prominently.
Well, we have to wait and see what is really brought up between the leaders when they meet in Kazan. But in the meantime, it is clearly a challenge to the West that is being thrown together by Russia and North Korea. And for the moment, the response is not really clear. Thanks for joining us for the moment, Professor Kumar.